Members, good morning. This is the panel on Home Affairs, and this is the first meeting of the panel. Item 1, election of chairman and deputy chairman of the Home Affairs panel. The clerk has already notified members that as of the deadline for nomination, we have received one single valid nomination, and that is Mr. Vincent Cheng, proposed by Mr. Chen Yong and seconded by Mr. Michael Luk. Mr. Cheng has not been elected as chairman or vice chairman of any panels, nor is he the chairman or vice chairman of any advisory bodies. So in accordance with the rules of procedure, I declare that Mr. Vincent Cheng elected as chairman of the Home Affairs panel. Mr. Cheng. Right, thank you very much for your support, members. We're going to have a whole host of issues to be dealt with, and this is a wonderful panel, and I look forward to cooperation with members. All right, let's move on to the election of the deputy chairman. The clerk has already notified members that for the office of vice chairmanship, by the time of the deadline, we have only one single valid nomination, and the nominee is Mr. Kenneth Falk, nominated by Mr. Ma Fung Kwok, seconded by Mr. Perry Yu. Mr. Falk has not been elected as chairman or deputy chairman of any panels, nor is he the chairman or deputy chairman of any government advisory body. So in accordance with the rules of procedure, I declare that Mr. Falk has been elected as deputy chairman. Right, let's move on to the schedule of meetings for the 2022 session. Please refer to the schedule of meetings tabled before members, Schedule 2, Appendix 2. As per usual practice, our meeting is scheduled for the second Monday of each month. So subject to members' agreement, we will proceed accordingly, like the last term agreeable. Please also note that the meeting schedule for April is going to be clashing with the Special Finance Committee scrutinizing the draft estimates 2022-23. So we propose that this be rescheduled to the 19th of April, 4:30 p.m. And May 9th is also a public holiday, so we will be shifting the meeting to the 11th of May, or Wednesday, at 9 to 11 a.m. So if this is agreeable to members, the clerk will be issuing the notice to members. All right, unless you have any further points, let's move on to the items for discussion at the next meeting. At the council meeting scheduled for the 16th of February, there is a motion of thanks debate, and we have set aside the 14th of February, the Valentine's Day, for a briefing on the policy address. The SHA will be briefing members on the policy address. So is this agreeable to members? We're going to be discussing the policy address. All right, so this is going to be happening on the 14th of February. Members are welcome to make suggestions regarding the items. You're welcome to raise your hands if you have any points to make. We have a big portfolio here in this panel, like sports, culture, the WKCD, and district administration and sports and culture. We have a whole host of items, and we'd like to hear from members your preliminary views, and together with the deputy chair, I'll be discussing with the SHA, and you're welcome to make any suggestions. All right, any members? We have 3 members, Mr. Yan Chen, and Mr. Ma Fong Kwok, and Mr. Kenneth Fok. Or Jovi Chen, please. Chairman, I propose that a committee be formed on youth affairs. This is going to be an important issue. I've prepared a letter for the chairman. I think we have to have a more focused approach to deal with the youth affairs in Hong Kong. We have members coming from different spheres, and we very much hope that we can contribute our input. Mr. Ma Fong Kwok, Chairman. Over the past 2 terms, we set up a subcommittee on the West Kowloon district project. Now, things are in full swing at the WKCD, and I'm wondering whether we need to have a specific committee. I doubt it myself. But going forward, there will be a whole variety of issues. So instead of having a subcommittee, I think we can hold special meetings to have some focused discussion on the WKCD. And also the Kai Tak Sports Stadium is going to be progressing in full swing, and I'm wondering whether we can have some focused meetings instead of forming any special committee. Mr. Kenneth Fok, Chairman, thank you. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to express my views and see how we can take the matters forward more effectively. There are 4 areas. First off, I think we should have a long-term cultural art and sports plan. And the approach has been going on for so long. And in terms of culture, we had the cultural studies so many years ago. A lot still remain outstanding. And we have, this is Hong Kong is going to be a center for East and West, and I don't want to go into detail about this. And members also said that we should expose the young people to Chinese culture more, and I think we have to prepare the young people for the legacy of Chinese culture. I think we should have a more focused approach here. Third, the NSA, the National Sports Association, they've been working very hard over the years, and the district councils are very much in limbo, and it is difficult for them to get the funding to be dispersed to them, and they're suffering from very huge financial stringency. And for these NSAs and also the popularization of sports is something important. Also, cross-departmental cooperation. The government has set aside $100 million for art tech, and this is the way to go. A year on, we're still stuck with the meeting with the tech sector, and I don't think we have any particular plan. This is the way forward, but how we're going to proceed, we do need some more discussion. Right, Mr. Leung? Turn up the mic, please. Thank you. Chairman, thank you. A couple of points, if I may. As Jovi said, youth policy is terribly important, and I hope that we can have a comprehensive youth policy and a blueprint for youth affairs. and the policy bureaus are going to be revamped going forward. I don't propose to bore you with many details, but raise a couple of points. First, exchange and internship. Because of COVID, we may not be able to go ahead with this, and the university students may be deprived of an opportunity to have an exposure in the mainland. And I'm wondering whether we can have some internship and exchanges here in Hong Kong. Second, young people taking part in politics, and there can be some improvement. That the existing scheme is serving some useful purpose. There are 5,000 young people putting in the application, but they fail to get any assignments. And this is a good opportunity for us to engage the young people. Finally, awareness of the GPA on the part of the young people. I think we should look at this from another perspective. Instead of talking about all the GDP and so on, we should look at the GPA from the perspective of young people. There can be an information portal. We can have some plans to enable the young people to get a better idea of the Greater Bay Area. Thank you. Mr. Chen Yong. Chairman, thank you. The HA panel covers a broad range of issues. I'd like to highlight 2 points. First, at the district level, how we're going to support the patriotic organizations, and they are really fantastic partners. All these district organizations came up with 4 to 5 million goodie bags during the COVID period, and I think we can look forward to more partnership in order to serve the members of the public better. In terms of culture, the DAB, the NTSA have proposed a museum on the war of the defense for Hong Kong, and also a museum on the history of the Communist Party. Hong Kong has put forward a whole series of activities in celebration of the centenary of the establishment of the CCP. The war of resistance, and also the centenary of the CCP. Now, at the moment, things are really ad hoc. The Museum of Coastal Defense, after looking at the exhibition there, I mean, you really feel like destroying the museum, because they are really prejudiced in favor of the Japanese invasion. And I hope you will follow up on this. And Professor Lau is also an expert. We should follow up on this particular matter. I think we have to make sure that things are presented in a fair and just manner. Thank you. Mr. Perry, you, Chairman, thank you. I may be from the tourism sector, but I am very concerned about the young people, and the young people have everything to do with the tourism sector, and I hope that we can engage various sectors for cooperation. Under the LCSD, they do have a lot of resources to inject a new element to tourism. We are very concerned about youth work. Youth work and also cultural exchanges have everything to do with tourism. Until we have the Cultural Bureau, I think the panel should promote further development in this area.
We still have 6 colleagues in line. Please be precise. Ms. Lam. Thank you. I have a few points to make. About youth policy, yes, we should do some work on it. About how to foster them to integrate into the development of the GBA. This is important. Second, about the history of Hong Kong. Well, in the past, we have ignored our own history, especially about the Hong Kong defense, the history of Hong Kong defending the territory. So I think we should have this museum and put in place the record of this period of the time. And we could also have some oral history. I've talked to some veterans, some old warriors who have participated in the war. So I think we should do more and try to keep a record of the oral history during that period of time. Next, about district administration. I think there is a vacuum there. We really should look into this and see how we could enhance the structure of district administration. For instance, we should define its role, terms of reference, positioning, and so forth. And next, because of COVID, there are a lot of scenic spots that have been discovered, and people like to participate in green tourism. And I think there is a lot of potential here. For instance, the culture and history of the indigenous people of Hong Kong and so forth. I think we should work further on this. Thank you. Mr. Lok Chung Hong. Thank you, Chair. The government has decided to review or demolish the structure of the Mutual Assistance Committee. This is really a shame, and we really hope that we could have a new structure so that local residents can have a chance to participate in the discussion of local affairs and district matters. Well, our country has been very successful in fighting the virus, and the local people or the people in the districts have participated in the efforts, and this is vital to the success of the anti-COVID measures. So I think we should try to work further on this area. We should promote the participation of local people in district administration. Thank you. Next, I'd like to talk about the issue on the integration between the rural and the urban areas. First, new territories, it's a major part of Hong Kong. So I think that there should be more integration between the urban and the rural areas. And also with the development of the northern districts, there will be more people moving there, and there will be a lot of job opportunities there. So I hope that our panel could discuss this issue and see how better integration could be enhanced. Thank you. Mr. Look, 2 points. Yes, I agree with our colleagues. We're talking about the youth issues, and I think we should help the young people understand the country and also have a better planning of their career and their future. Well, I hope that our panel can work further on this, and I hope that the administration could listen more to the voices of the youth, well, especially about the housing problem among the young people. They have different demands at different stages of their lives. So I hope that our panel can try to solicit views from the young people regarding the housing problem. Second, about our integration into the GBA. Internship and exchange are very important, but in 2019 and 2020, well, there are over 10,000 people participating in exchange programs. However, starting 2020, because of COVID, there have only been about scores of young people participating in the exchange activities. Well, I think our panel should discuss with the administration to find other channels or to see whether there are other opportunities for young people to try to understand the development of our country and see how they could better integrate into the development of GBA. Next, Ms. Chen Haiyan. Chairman, 3 points I have. First, we have already set aside some time for the next meeting to discuss on the policy address. And then for the ensuing meeting, I think we should discuss the issue about our continuous measures to fight the pandemic. And also, for the previous session, well, this panel had discussed quite a lot of issues regarding the riot and the black riot and so forth. We actually have come up with a checklist and see what we should do. And actually, our residents and local people have a lot of anticipations, and they have a lot of expectations about what we can do, because we have put up a checklist and of what should be done. Well, let me cite some examples. For instance, about the 3 Niels building, and also how we should promote young people to engage into exchange, and also to go to the GBA to participate in internship, and also about busking in the street, and about the ticket sales arrangement for public activities and concerts and so forth. We have touched upon these issues, but then in the last issue we didn't have time to discuss them in detail. So I hope that for this term we should continue to explore on these issues. Well, for this panel, actually it is stated very clearly in our terms of reference that we should discuss or look into issues regarding culture and young youth policies, recreation policies, and so forth. I think we should discuss with the administration about these issues in a more precise manner. Thank you. Thank you for the 11 colleagues who have raised their views about what should be discussed and handled in this panel. Later on, the Secretariat will compile a list and try as much as possible to include your views. But then because of the limitation of time, we may not be possible to cover all the issues that you have raised. But then we will try our best. And second, well, we have related issues that have been discussed in the past term of our panel. So you might like to look at the records or the minutes of the past the meetings of this panel, because we have done some discussion on certain issues that you have raised. And also, we have conducted site visits to, for instance, the Kai-Tak Sports Arena and also other sites. Well, I agree that we could also conduct some site visits to the cultural and sports sector, so as to listen to their views. Communication is very important. I think we should try to listen to the views of the people in this sector and also exchange with them while we are conducting site visits. Well, because there will be another meeting to be held in this meeting room, so I think that we should end our meeting here. Thank you very much for your participation. Meeting adjourned.